Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Wildcard DFS show. I'll be your host, Ali. We've got Kev, we've got Mags. Boys, we are entering week 15 of the NFL season. How are you both? Kev, start with you.
Yeah, we don't sleep in the DFS streets, do we? Like, if you're playing, you redraft your dynasty, you might have a bye or you might be out of the playoffs, but every week's a new week in DFS. It's a chance to win some more money, and looking forward to doing that this week. How about you, Max?
I told everyone to go start Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson last week, so pretty crap. Being better on the DFS side, but we'll move on. We're going to make up for it this week.
It's been a tough week. But yeah, week 15, I'm feeling really good. We're going to be guiding you through the main slate over at DraftKings. Each week of the season, we'll be highlighting our key plays at each position for both cash and tournament contests. You know how it goes. We're starting with cash lineups. We're looking for popular plays, typically high ownership percentage, players with a high weekly floor. We don't want no duds. Gabe Davis, only trying to beat half of the field. So we go over to you, Kev, to start off with your cash quarterback plays. Who are they?
Yeah, I think with cash, you just got to think really logical, play for the fairway, think who's going to be popular and just go for it. So I think the first guy, couple of reasons I've picked him. Brock Purdy, 6,800 at the Cardinals. First one, playing the Cardinals, which it's just like every position is pretty much green on DraftKings when you're playing them. So I think he'll be really popular. He's on fire at the moment. He's doing well with breaking those 20, 30 yards after the catch for his receivers. He's doing a good job of that. But yeah, I think he's really good, really safe. The matchups indoors, you have to worry about the weather, and the look at the slate. There's 10 games. There's not tons and tons of choice this week. It's one of the more difficult slates, but I think in cash he's going to be so popular. Second guy, Jordan Love, 6,200. People might be put off with how he performed against the Giants this week, but he's at home and he's playing the Bucs, which you're very aware, Ali, that it's great for past matchups. We saw the likes of Desmond Ridder have an amazing game. Guys like Drake London that had a big breakout as well. So Jordan Love's someone that 6,200. He has flashed a little bit of a decent Forex upside in the past, but yeah, just with that price, with what he can do, he's someone that I'd be targeting if I'm fading Brocky, which I'm probably not going to be in cash. Go Brocky.
What an absolute start to the show. You pick the MVP of the league and then you pick the quarterback that is playing the Buccaneers this week. I mean, you cannot go wrong for cash. And I mean, the prices, Brock Purdy's still sub 7K is unbelievable. Playing against the Cardinals, we've also got Kyler Murray the other side that will be able to move the ball down the field as well. Love that. And yeah, Jordan Love at 6,200 against the Bucs. I mean, they should give the quarterback playing the Bucs an extra £1,000 in salary because they'll still hit at that price. So great start to the show. We'll move to the cash running back plays, and over to you, Mags.
Yeah, I mean, we may as well change CMC to can't miss cash because this guy is just every single week just absolutely smashes it. Christian McCaffrey, we found the same matchups, Kev. Arizona Cardinals, 9,300. It's going to be well worth it. Christian McCaffrey in there, can't miss cash for sure. Second one, it is chalky, but that's what we're looking for. Man, Bijan Robinson's been playing lights out. He's going up against the Carolina Panthers, who are just awful. So yeah, give me Bijan at 6,800. I'm getting both those guys in my cash lineups.
Yeah, me too. I think the last few weeks have been pretty difficult for running backs to pay up, but I think this week is where I'm going to find some cheaper wide receivers, and I want to pay up for Christian McCaffrey. I mean, his floor is 22, 25 points against the Cardinals. It's just whether they're so far ahead at halftime that they pull him. And then Bijan Robinson, you're talking $2,500 cheaper than Christian McCaffrey, and his usage the last few weeks has been great. It's been all bordering elite. That's where we wanted him to be, and the Panthers couldn't be a better matchup. They let Tony Pollard score a rushing touchdown on them a few weeks ago. That Derrick Henry then battered them the week after. Rashad White then battered them the week after that. So they're battered and bruised, and Bijan is ready to to finish them off. So we'll move to the white cash wide receiver plays. We're sticking down the chalky route. Cooper Kupp, 7,800 against just a great matchup with the Commanders. It was almost prime 2021 Cooper Kupp at the weekend against a really tough Ravens defense. Wide receiver 4 on the week, so you love to see him back in putting up wide receiver 1 numbers. 8 catches, 115 yards and a touchdown. And the best thing is he looks healthy again now. And obviously that rapport with Stafford is always going to be there. Stafford looks great, tossing touchdowns there front and center. Really good to watch. Now up against the Commanders, who have just been woeful this year. They're 31st against opposing wide receivers. Last time out, I think they're on a bye this week. Last time out, they gave up a huge week to Tyreek Hill. I think it was like 150 yards and a couple of touchdowns. They conceded 4 passing touchdowns to Dallas, to 4 different wide receivers the week before that. Get Cooper Kupp in your lineup at slightly reduced rate than what he would be at 7,800. Love that. And then also want to pay up for CeeDee Lamb, 9,200 against the Buffalo Bills. CeeDee's been the other standout wide receiver other than Tyreek Hill this season. CeeDee Lamb has been absolutely exceptional. Really taken that next step to be an elite. 7 receiving touchdowns in his past 7 games. And it's a really big game for both of these sides that they really are fighting for the playoffs right now. One's going for the number 1 seed and one's just trying to get into the playoffs in the Bills. It's the highest over-under of the slate as well at 49.5. So both teams are projected to put up plenty of points. I just think with Tyreek Hill banged up this week, that he's to come out in his day-to-day. His coach has said so. Whether he plays or not, I think CeeDee Lamb will then be the most popular play this week, despite that big price tag. And I just think he's safe for another 10-plus targets. You look his last 7 games, he's averaged 12.7 targets per game. So I just think he's absolutely safe as houses. As long as it's not absolutely bucketing down with snow in Buffalo, then I want CeeDee Lamb on all my cash lineups because that floor is just there. Move to the cash flex plays and back to you, Kev.
Yeah, the first guy I'm not going to talk about too much because he's managed to do it again as this guy. He's snuck onto our show sheet in several spots. Jaden Reed, I just think 4,900 at home to the Bucks. We mentioned about Jordan Love, why he's such a good player, but Jaden Reed really stepped up as the one in that offense, both usage as a receiver and a rusher as well. So I think, yeah, that price, he's going to be so popular. And yeah, it's a cash play, but maybe it'll be a tournament play as well. We'll have to see about that. But I think the other guy, Drake London's an obvious one, 5,400 at the Panthers, coming off that monster week. Being honest, like, if I'm thinking logically, it's not the greatest play because the Panthers are horrible and they're probably going to be ahead early and all through the game. So while there's that reservation of me of can he have a 15, 20 point week again, and I see that as a low potential when you're playing cash, it's just about picking popular plays, which you don't necessarily have to be right or wrong on. It's just picking popular plays, and if he does go off, you're going to get carried along. If he has a bad game, probably half the field have got him as well, so it doesn't matter. So he's the other pick on the cheaper end that I will be tagging just based off the big game he had last week.
Yeah, I really love both of these plays for different reasons. Jaden Reed, because I may have picked him later on in a different segment. Love the price, love the matchup, love the usage. And then same for Drake London. It almost felt like it was his coming out game this week. I know he's not a rookie anymore, but he really was the complete wide receiver. Put up big numbers. And at 5,400, I mean, there's a point where you have to pay down at some position here. It allows you to then fit in someone like a Cooper Kupp or pay up for a Christian McCaffrey. And I think he does give you I think it'll be a safe floor. I think going forward, Drake London is going to have that safe floor and also gives you that ceiling. And at 5,400, got to love that interdivisional matchup with the Panthers. Move on to the tight end position and we'll go to the tight end whisperer, Mags.
I think this is the second week in a row or second time we're doing Titans Row, and I'm mentioning the word Stephen Njoku. Kev, you gotta be so proud of me. I know you are. He's 4,700 going up against the Bears, who, I mean, the Bears are still the Chicago Bears, aren't they? They're probably going to do quite well. Plus that amazing relationship he's now got with Uncle Joe Flacco as well in there for the Browns. So he's absolutely killing it. And then a guy that's been coming on a little bit the last 2 weeks, Kyle Pitts. I'm seeing a bit more from him. We spoke about the same sort of with Drake London there. So I think Kyle Pitts could hopefully have another big game going up against the Carolina Panthers, and maybe, for the love of God, score a touchdown. He's only got 2 this year. You can get more than that, Kyle. Come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, one was this week, so hopefully he'll be on a touchdown streak, and at 4K for getting such a talented wide receiver. Yeah. He has had an uptick the last couple of weeks, 8 targets and 6 targets. He's gone over 50 yards in both and a touchdown in the last game. So if you're getting that at 4K, that's a great play. And then David Njoku has got the best run in for a tight end coming into the fantasy playoffs. And this matchup couldn't be any better against the Chicago Bears. And at 4,700 with Flacco as his quarterback, the passes are all funneling through David Njoku and Amari Cooper. You know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get plenty of targets, upwards of 10 for Njoku quite easily in a game where Chicago put up points as well. So really like both these picks. We'll move to the cash defense. A couple of defenses here. First one, the Cleveland Browns, 3.5K at home against Chicago Bears. For me this year, Cleveland has been an automatic pick when they've been at home, no matter what the opposition is. They've been absolutely insane defense when they are at home, and not so much on the road, which seems to be a bit strange. But when they're at home, they've been amazing. The Bears' offense has been actually really quite good recently, but I don't think they'd have played any defense close to what the Cleveland Browns can do when they're at home. I think they'll force some mistakes from the Chicago Bears front, and at 3.5K, that's a really solid pick. And the second one, the New Orleans Saints. Slightly more expensive, $300 more expensive, 3,800 at home against Tommy DeVito, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, he may have reeled off 3 wins on the bounce, but I think he's going to find it tough in the big easy. This Saints defense has actually been awesome lately, and was the top scoring defense this past week. The Saints are in a 3-way tie for the NFC South division, so they're playing really aggressive on defense the last few weeks. I just think the backup quarterback is going to make a few mistakes when the pressure starts to get to him. It's not an easy place to play in that dome in New Orleans. The Saints fans are crazy. So we'll move to the tournament pick. So this is looking for lower overall owner percentage with unique plays, unique combinations, stacks and correlations for days. The ultimate goal is to try and place first in the contest. So we don't want to place halfway. We want to be number 1. So over to you, Kev, for your GPP quarterback plays.
Yeah, I think obviously, like guys I picked in the cash plays are probably going to have some popularity in GPP as well. Because I think both those matchups, there's the things we talk about. There's the things like the stacks and the bringbacks and all that jazz. But I think if you want to try and get a little bit different, and especially if you're in bigger fields, I think the first guy, it makes me laugh because I'm not his biggest fan, but for fantasy, I think he's been great. It's Sam Howell, 6,300 is at the Rams, which, yeah, it's not ideal. He's on the road, but I think in that stadium, first of all, it doesn't feel like a home stadium to me for the Rams. So I've seen a few of their games, and it always feels like there's plenty of away fans. So it might be nicer than we actually think. 6,300. He's hit 20 points several times. He's had some 25-point games. If you go in Cup one side, you could go Sam Howell the other and do a little bit like that. But if you don't want to do that, stick with Cup's QB, Matt Stafford. He's 6,000 against the Commanders. He's at home. Lovely conditions in a dome, obviously. You've got Cup, you've got Nakua. So two of the best weapons in the league if you're thinking your wide receiver 1 and 2. Yes, the ceiling is maybe not there for him to have 30-point games because of the lack of rush upside, but you've got to think about the big picture. If you're taking a Stafford or a Howell, it's opening you up to have a better chance at, like you guys both wanted, CMC and Bijan in cash. if you could sneak them into a GPP lineup, that's going to be mega.
Certainly is. And I just think this is a bit different a matchup. A lot of people are going to go for the Buffalo Bills, the Dallas game. A lot of will be trying to cram the players in for that. It's a little way of getting different. I can't quite believe the pricing that Stafford's actually cheaper than Sam Howell playing at home. The tear that Matt Stafford's on, I think his consecutive games with three passing touchdowns. If you're going to get that, which I can totally see against Washington, then he's going to be quids in this week, and he's really going to help you win cash. And yeah, somehow, hopefully, we want to see this Commanders team get a bit frisky. I see exactly what you mean in the Rams and Chargers stadium. It's sort of a stadium that's just been built for hosting Super Bowls rather than sort of frightening the opposition. It's not like going into Philly or going into Cleveland where they're just crazy, and it's not daunting whatsoever. It's a nice, friendly stadium. I bet the away dressing room is very nice. So the Commanders are absolutely desperate. I think they've got a top 5 pick. Sam Howell is playing for his next job. He's going to want to ball out. The Rams defense isn't exactly scary, so we're looking for a game similar to this week with the Rams and the Ravens. It went off and really helped people win this week, so we're looking for similar again. And yeah, both cheap options. Love it. So over to Mags for your GPP running backs.
You know what time it is, boys, right? It's time to get the tables again. Finally, I think the training wheels are off after last week. Just a couple of carries. I think he only had 7 carries. The training wheels are off. Devon Achane is back. He's 7,200 against the New York Jets, who are going to be feeling, pretty uppity after their last win. But I think Devon's going to slap them back down to earth himself. He's going to do it. He's going to get the majority of the carries here, and I expect a big boom week out of him. And the alternative is, maybe the only guy I trust to actually catch a goddamn pass in the Kansas City Chiefs team. That's Jerick McKinnon at 5,100 going up against New England. Depends if Pacheco was back or not, so have that in mind. But if I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm throwing to 3 people at most, and one of them is Jerick McKinnon. So I think he could get a couple of receptions in that game, and he's dirt cheap at 5,100.
Yeah, really love these picks. Devon Achane, the guy that is most people's been wanting throughout the season when he's been healthy, but it was Raheem Mostert show this week, so a lot of people will naturally draw to Raheem Mostert and go for that matchup. So I think it opens up a bit of a window to be different with Achane at 7,200 is absolutely devastating with the ball in his hands.
Yeah,
we don't know the status of Tyreek Hill. He's day to day, so if he doesn't play, they're going to have to feature Achane more often. So really like that. The matchup's also really good. It's New York Jets are one of the worst teams for opposing running backs. And yeah, Jerick McKinnon just over 5K in a game that the Chiefs are absolutely desperate to win. It's not going to be easy at the Patriots, but 5K. As you mentioned, Mahomes trusts McKinnon. You saw what McKinnon done come playoff time last season. Last season he was amazing. Is this the start of his run again? Well, yes. I'm willing to take a chance at 5K. So we'll move on to the GPP wide receiver plays, and I've gone for Brandon Ayuk at 7,200 against the Cardinals. He's almost been the forgotten man recently with Debo and Christian McCaffrey absolutely balling out recently. And people forget that Brandon Ayuk had himself a big day himself. 9 targets, 6 catches, 126 yards against Seattle. And now with Debo Samuel, he's $500 more expensive on the slate, which actually has usually been cheaper all season. I'll just go with the cheaper option, who's obviously he's shown that he's had big games. He actually had a big game himself in week 4 against Arizona, put up 148 receiving yards on his way to a 20-point game then. So I'll just take the reduced price in Brandon Ayuk. A lot of people are drawn to Debo with the ceiling that he's shown the last few weeks. And then the second one, mentioned already on the show, Jaden Reed.
Great pick.
An absolute sound pick versus the Buccaneers. As Kev has already mentioned, he did lead the Packers in wide receivers and targets this week with 8 catches for just 27 yards, which was a bit of a strange game for him, but he did also rush what I liked. He rushed 4 times for 28 yards and a touchdown. So he put up 20 points this week and was wide receiver 6 on the week. So if you're getting him at sub 5K. I think obviously against a very beatable Bucks secondary. In a game that's actually got huge playoff implications. Really like that value for Jaden Reed at sub 5K. I think he needs to be in all of your lineups this week. So we'll move on to the GPP flex plays. So back to you, Kev.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I do love a revenge game narrative. I also love like aging wide receivers that aren't very good anymore. So yeah, I mean, I can't even get my words out. I'm very excited to talk about these two guys because they've probably not been spoken about on any show we've done this year. And we're in December. So Robert Woods, 4,200 at the Titans. Great matchup. We're hoping Stroud makes it. We're hoping that it's not Davis Mills. But if it is Davis Mills, so what? We know that he can be decent impactors. Collins looks like he's going to be out. Tangdale's out. Schultz might be out. So it's literally a volume-based play, and it's against his former team. He'll have something to prove. He's familiar with the stadium and the surroundings and some of his teammates, so or opposing teammates. So yeah, I think that's something dirt cheap that you can stick in your flex, and it gives you that opportunity to get the higher price guys. And then Juju in it. It's got to be Juju. 3,600 against the Chiefs. Had his best game, I think, for a while on Thursday Night Football. Yeah, it's really tricky. Like just the way it's been for the Chiefs. Like it seems at the moment, what can go wrong is going wrong, and especially the woes at wide receiver. I can see the narrative already. Juju has a mega game, and people saying this guy was on the Chiefs last year. Maybe it's just me wishful thinking, but I think at 3,600 again, stick him in your flex. If he gets you 10 points, that's great. If he gets you 15, wow.
Yeah, love it. Just firstly, going back to Robert Woods. Obviously, it could be Robert Woods and Noah Brown as the two sort of established wide receivers on the team. Something weird is going on with Noah Brown because he's had 7 targets the last 2 weeks and not caught a single ball. So there's something weird going on with him. He has gone off throughout the season, but yeah, I think Robert Woods is the unfashionable guy at 4,200. You love to get a cheap guy in there that is going to possibly see volume, and whether it's Davis Mills, who's an absolute stud, especially in Mags' eyes, or whether CJ Stroud makes it back somehow. I think this is really, really interesting matchup, and one that people are just going to be hesitant to go for with Will Levis. It's not going to be a fashionable matchup people want to go for. I guess the over-under is going to be fairly low. So really love that pick as a sneaky one. And yeah, Juju, how the Chiefs would love someone like Juju who can at least catch the damn ball. And at 3,600, that seems, really like that price. And what Bailey Zappi got a bit frisky this week. Did he throw 3 touchdowns? I mean, who knows? He's going to have to pass the ball a lot if the Chiefs bounce back and Mahomes picks it up again this week. Really like them picks and absolutely dirt cheap. So move on to the GPP tight ends and back to you, Mags.
Yeah, well, the Chiefs will be picking it up, and they will be doing it through the best tight end in the NFL, Travis Kelce, who's going up against the New England Patriots. He's 7,600, but I just think, do you hear how pissed off Patrick Mahomes was that Travis Kelce was robbed of that moment? And they were like, I hope they still play it anyway when they put him in the Hall of Fame. Like, that was a direct quote from Patrick Mahomes. So he is going to try his damnedest to give Travis Kelce like a monster game. The last thing I want to be is New England going up against a pissed off Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. We haven't seen that a lot, but I don't reckon it's going to be pretty for them. I think it's going to be really, really a big time Travis Kelce game here. So he could be someone that could come in and break the slate here. He is quite expensive, so I'm going to give you a guy in the opposite end in case you don't want to spend that much on the tight end. And that's Chiggy Okonkwo, right? We haven't said his name in a long time. He's seen over 5 targets over the last 3 games. I don't know. I just got a gut feeling he's not scored a touchdown this year. I think he's going to score a touchdown. I just think it's time. It's time. So at that price, that's pretty good value, right?
Yes, it's a hot take. You heard it here first. But at 2,900, I mean, even if he doesn't, 5 targets, if he catches 5 balls, he's almost doubling his salary right now anyway. So it's probably too cheap because he has been worked more into the offense. It's been quite a sad story this year, actually, because I was a big Chikonkwo guy coming into this season, and it's not quite worked out for him. But hopefully he's getting back on track. He's still a young guy. Young tight ends take a while to get going sometimes. So really like that. And Travis Kelce, who wouldn't be surprised if he did break the slate this week and have one of his bonkers 3 touchdown performances. And Patrick Mahomes just absolutely lights the Patriots on fire, and just to prove a point to the league. And yeah, he's going to play pissed off. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that happen this week against Bill Belichick. And speaking of Bill Belichick, we'll come on to the GPP defenses. And we want to tell narratives in DFS, and this is the opposite of what we've just been talking about. And this is talk about Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs struggling once again. So I've got the New England Patriots at 2,300. They're at home. Obviously the KC offense has been really poor this year. Patrick Mahomes, quarterback 7 on the year, fine, but quarterback 19 since week 7, quarterback 15. Wow. 25, in points per game since week 7. So it's not been great whatsoever. I just think the Patriots defense has a possibility here to slow down this offense again. And it being the second cheapest defense on the slate, really like that value. And just looking at recently, they've been really solid. So they've put up 7 points, 12 points, and 5 points in the last 3 games, which it's the 13th highest in the NFL. I think if you're paying that and you're getting 7 points, you're really quite happy about the value that you've paid. And then going for another cheap defense in the New York Jets, an elite defense at 2,500, so only a couple of $100 more. They're going at the Miami Dolphins. They obviously stopped the high-flying Texans offense this week that's obviously ravaged with injury. Miami could well be without Tyreek Hill. He's day-to-day with his ankle injury picked up this week. So it's based on, especially if Tyreek Hill's not playing, you just saw the Miami Dolphins struggle quite a lot to move the ball down the field. They're definitely not the same offense. They're not firing on all cylinders. They weren't against Tennessee. And I just think the Jets could possibly add to the misery here. They're the 4th cheapest defense on the slate. And the last 3 weeks, they've been really good. They've scored 13, 9, and 12 points this past week. And they've already played Miami Dolphins 3 weeks ago, and Tua tossed a couple of interceptions in that game. So really like them against the Dolphins at 2,500. Think that is really good value. So move on to the main event of the night. This is the pick of the week. So over to you, Kev. Absolutely love this pick.
Yeah, a lot of this is gut feeling. Breece Hall. So he's playing at Dolphins, 6,400. I think there is some running backs on the slate that we really like. I think Bijan was one that stood out as such a value for what he's going compared to like CMC, who you know is going to smash, but big value saving. But I think tell a story of how he's going to get different. Breece Hall at price, someone that I think it's not all come together because of the offense. We don't know what it would look like with Rodgers, etc. But his best games have come with Zach Wilson under QB. They're on the road. They're probably going to be playing from behind. It's good for pass volume. He just has to get lucky with receiving touchdown, or I don't know, maybe it falls over on a goal line carry from the one, maybe a pass interference or something down the field when they're playing catch up. So you'll need a bit of luck. Obviously, it's GPP that I've been wanting to do this play, but I think it's probably a week when people aren't going to be in on him. It's the Dolphins. It's not an easy matchup, but I just had the upset.
Yeah, I really like it just because you think running backs in a game where they're going to be a dog by 13 points something on the road is typically you're not going to want to be going after them sort of guys. But Breece Hall this past week, his stats were something like he had 10 carries for 40 yards on the ground. Then he had something like 10 or 8 or 10 targets for like 80 odd yards through the air, which is exactly what you want, and it's something that you could see happening again this week with the Jets playing from behind and then Zach Wilson dumping it off to Breece Hall. And he only has to break one play. We know how explosive he can be, and then it will pay off at this price. And yeah, I think a lot of people will be put off him. So I really like this play, and he'll be in a couple of my GPP plays for sure. No pressure, Kev. Next pick, Mags. This is a guy, there's absolutely no pressure on this guy because he's been insane the last few weeks. Is he going to keep it going, though?
Yeah, I'm just riding the hot hand with Deebo Samuel. He is quite pricey. He's 7,700, but he's going up against the Arizona Cardinals. Like, I just can't see him not just smashing them, right? He's red hot right now. We spoke about how he's on the Dynasty show. We spoke about how he's the glue that holds this whole team together. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep on going with Deebo.
Yeah, and while he's still not priced up at the CD Lamb, Tyreek Hill level, yet he's putting up the same amount of points recently. Why not keep rising him at 7,700? I don't think the Cardinals have got a single guy that can stop him on defense. So yeah, let's keep riding with Deebo. And then finally, is this 2 weeks running, or is this recently? This is a guy that's featured 3 times in one show. It's Jaden Reed, 4,900 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home.
Great pick.
I can't say much more that hasn't been said already this show. But if you're getting a wide receiver 1, sub 5K, I just think that's such great value for any format, cash, GPP. Jaden Reed, I think obviously Aaron Jones has been struggling with injury. He's been getting looks in the backfield as well. So he's not just getting targets, he's rushing on the floor as well. Just giving you extra points. And at sub 5K, he can fit into almost all your lineups, give you safety, but also give you that high ceiling as well. So that is definitely my pick of the week. And with that, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow us and subscribe on X and YouTube at Wildcard DFS and at Fantasy Wildcard. And join us for our show every single Wednesday. And if you'd like to take part in our $5 entry winner takes all Wildcard DFS moneymaker contest each week, which we've all won this year at some point, keep your eyes peeled because we do put out some tweets about that from Thursday onwards. So the more entries, the bigger the prize. So thanks once again. Have a good one, and we'll see you again soon.